Okay, once again, good evening, students.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. All of you, please switch on your videos.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good
I can hear
evening,
a very
ma'am.
feeble sound, so you just cooperate with me. Okay, all. Okay, thank you. So, students, in the last class, we discussed about the method of transfer of heat, and we are already studied the two different methods that we are used to transfer the heat from one place to another. What are they? Emil?
Breeze, land breeze.
Emil?
Convection and convection.
Savio, the two methods of heat transfer. Yes, Aaron,
Conduction.
conduction and
Conduction.
Ma'am,
convection. Herin, the method of heat transfer conduction is adopted for what type of matter? The conduction is a method of transfer of heat that is adopted for what type of matter? Herin,
Ma'am, is it conduction or convection?
conduction, conduction. Conduction is a method of transfer that we are used for which type of matters?
Like
Nivedita.
solid matter.
Yeah, it is for solids. So we are using the conduction as a method of heat transfer in the case of solids. Then what about convection? What do you mean by convection? Aradhya, convection. Unmute and say. Aradhya, unmute and say. Okay, Han,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you mean by convection? Define convection. I think it is better to chat the answers in chat box. I can't hear you. Convection. Convection is a method of heat transfer that we can say in the case of, you don't need to chat anything. I'm just saying like that. You just listen here. Convection. What do you mean by convection? Convection is a method of
The
heat
transfer-
transfer that we are mainly used in the case of fluids. Fluids in the sense, it is a combination of liquids and gas. The liquids and gas together called fluids. So convection is a method of heat transfer that we are mainly adopted in the case of fluids. So what about the transfer of particles? Is it occurs in convection?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In the case of convection, along with that of the heat, the transfer of particles are also takes place. But in the case of conduction, actual movement of the particles is not takes place. And it is a process of method of heat transfer that is takes place in the case of solids. Now we have the third method of heat transfer, that is what is known as
Radiation.
very good. It is known as radiation. Then what do you mean by radiation? Abhinav, what do you mean by radiation?
Ma'am, like, ma'am, the
Radiation.
transfer heat without touch.
Yes, method of heat transfer
Without touching.
without a medium. It is a method of heat transfer without a medium. So here in the case of radiation, a medium is actually not required for the transfer of heat. Example, can you say one example for the radiation, the method of heat transfer takes place? Yes.
Earth and sun.
Yes, in the case of sunlight. So sunlight is coming from the sun. It is directly reaches to the earth's surface without passing through any kind of solid or liquid medium. So it doesn't require any medium for its propagation. So the third method of heat transfer is known as radiation. Okay, so let us see more about this radiation. After that, we can move to the last topic of this lesson. So radiation is a process of heat transfer in which heat is directly passes from one body to other without affecting the medium. So in the cases of a radiation, the radiation is a method of heat transfer. The third method of heat transfer is known as radiation. Here we didn't require any kind of medium for the heat transfers or for the propagation of the heat. Okay, so without passing through the medium, the heat is directly reaches onto the surface. Did you copy down the definition for this radiation in the last class?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
At least thumbs up or thumbs down. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, children. So here in this figure, you can see some examples for radiation. It is a process of transfer of heat in the form of waves. So in the case of radiation, the heat transfer takes place in the form of waves. The heat transfer takes place in the form of waves. In the case of radiation, write the next point. In the case of radiation, heat transfer takes place in the form of waves. And radiation doesn't require any medium. It can occur in the vacuum too. You don't need to copy down this sentence because here it is we are defining in our definition. Vacuum means empty space. Even though if it is in the empty space, the heat transfer is possible. It can be transferred from one medium to another medium without passing through any other kind of, or one region to another medium without passing through any other kind of mediums. So this is what is known as radiation. It doesn't require any medium for its propagation, and it is transfer in the form of waves. For example, the sun's heat reaches the earth's surface through radiation. The sun's heat reaches the earth's surface through radiation. Okay, that's all. That's all about the radiation. Now we are moved to the last topic of this lesson. Kinds of clothes we wear in summer and winter. Okay, kinds of clothes that we wear in summer and winter. Okay, are you familiar with this type of clothes? What is the
Yes,
difference
ma'am.
between the first image and second image? What is the type of clothes in the first image?
First one
This is
is
our first image.
The first one is
is
woolen.
thin.
That's summer clothes. It is
Yes, the
worn in
first one is
summer.
actually example for winter
Winter
clothes.
clothes.
Okay, and this is a type of clothes,
thick
woolen
clothes.
clothes. The first one is woolen clothes.
Woolen.
Normally we are used in winter
Winter.
in order to protect from the extreme wind. Okay, extreme cold and all.
Winter.
And the second one is an example for cotton clothes.
Clothes.
When we are used to wear this cotton clothes,
And during
And
summer.
during summer.
yes, it is during
During
the summer. Okay, so during winter we are prefer the woolen clothes. So woolen clothes are obtained from animal fibers. Woolen clothes are generally dark in color and are worn in the winter season as they protect, not worn, and it is wear in the winter season. It is wear in the winter season as they protect us from the cold environment. So during winter season, we are normally prefer this woolen clothes. Woolen clothes is obtained from where? It is obtained from the animal fibers. Woolen clothes are obtained from animal fibers. What about the color of woolen clothes? Here you can see a dark colored woolen clothes. Normally the woolen clothes are obtained in dark in colors. Okay, woolen clothes are dark in color. And it is wear in the winter season because it protects us from the cold environment. The second type of clothes are cotton clothes. Cotton clothes is a type of clothes that we are normally wearing summer season. Summer season, in order to protect us from the heavy hot condition, we are usually prefer this cotton clothes. Okay. So cotton clothes are obtained from where? It is obtained from the plant fibers. So this is the difference between woolen clothes and cotton clothes. Woolen clothes are obtained from animal fibers where cotton clothes are obtained from plant fibers. And as in you can see in this image, the cotton clothes are generally light in color. Cotton clothes are generally light in color. But woolen clothes, they are very dark in color. Cotton clothes are normally light in color. I will explain why we wear this light colored clothes during summer season. After writing this, I will explain this with the help of an activity. And we wear this cotton clothes in summer season so that we can feel cool. We wear this cotton clothes in summer season because we can feel cool. Okay. So these are the two types of clothes that we are used in winter and summer respectively. Normally we are used the woolen clothes during winter season. From where we obtain this woolen clothes, Hanna? From where we are obtained this woolen clothes?
Animal fiber.
Yes, it is obtained from the animal fibers. And what about their color? Aaron, is it is light or dark in color? Woolen clothes. They are dark in color. And how this woolen clothes protect us from this winter? That is what we are going to discuss next. How this woolen clothes are protect us from this winter. Okay, the next type of clothes is cotton clothes. Cotton clothes are the clothes that we are normally used to wear during summer season. And it is obtained from where, Nivedita? Cotton
Plant
clothes.
fiber.
Yes, it is obtained from the plant fibers. And it is normally light in color. And thereby, we are normally wear this cotton clothes during summer and it is protect us from the extreme hot conditions. Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay. Now, the next question. So you can expect this question for exam. How do woolen clothes keep us warm? So this is one of the most important question and the last topic of this lesson. How do woolen clothes keep us warm, or why we are prefer this woolen clothes in winter? The reason is the woolen clothes are a bad conductor of heat. Bad conductor of heat means we are call it by another name. What's that? If the object that is do not conduct heat, we can call it by another name. What is that?
Insulator.
Very good, excellent. It is known as insulator. So we can say woolen clothes are actually insulators. They doesn't conduct the heat. Okay, so woolen clothes are bad conductors of heat. Woolen clothes are bad conductors of heat. That is our first point. Therefore, they do not allow the heat from the body to move out in the environment. Okay, so we know that in the case of winter seasons, the outside is with extreme cold conditions. So if you are wearing this woolen clothes, what happens? The woolen clothes is prevent the transfer of heat from outside, from inside to outside. It prevents the flow of heat from internal to external. They do not allow the heat flow from the body to move out in the environment. As a result, the air present between the woolen clothes and our body becomes hot, and this makes us feel warm because the hot air from the body doesn't move to outside. It is remains in our body itself. Whenever we wear the woolen clothes are actually bad conductors of insulators, or in simple terms, we can say they are known as insulators. Woolen clothes are insulators. They doesn't conduct the heat. As a result of this, if you are wear this woolen clothes during winter season, you can keep the body warm because it doesn't allow the heat to go outside. So the hot air inside the body remains as it is. Similarly, here you can see, add one more point. The two thin blankets, if you are using the two thin blankets, it provides more heat than one thick blanket because air can be trapped between these two thin blankets. The two thin blankets provide more heat as compared to that of a one thick blanket, because if you are using the two thin blankets, our air gets trapped between these two thin blankets. It doesn't get any space to go outside. So this air trapped inside, that's why, or thereby it kept the body warm. So these all are the points that you must kept in your mind. And these are the answers for the question, how do or why we are prefer the woolen clothes during winter season. Or you can say another question like this, how do woolen clothes keep us warm? Why we wear woolen clothes during winter? So you can expect any one of these questions for exam. Why we wear woolen clothes during winter? Or the question be like this, how do woolen clothes keep us warm? The woolen clothes are bad conductor of heat, or in simple words, you can say they are the insulators of heat. Therefore, they do not allow the heat from the body to move out in the environment. As a result, the air present between the woolen clothes and our body becomes hot, and this makes us feel warm. Similarly, this is a special case. You can check whether this is true or not by using the two thin blankets in your home. So the two thin blankets provides more heat as compared to that of a thick blanket, because when we are using two thin blankets, the air gets trapped inside these two thin blankets. Is it over?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So now we can explain activity. So that activity tells us why we are normally prefer light colored clothes during summer and dark colored clothes in winter. Okay. So here in your textbook, there will be an activity 4.10. Activity 4.10. One minute. Okay. Activity 4.10. So in this activity 4.10, here we consider two pots. Okay. I think it is better to change the background, then it is more clear. Here we consider the two pots. One is a black and other is a white. Then we pour equal amount of water in these two beakers. This is our beaker 1. This is our beaker 2. Then we fill these two beakers with equal amount of water. Here also we put the same equal amount of water. Then kept these beakers under sunlight for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Okay. And after sometimes, what do you felt? That is what is the question.
It becomes heat.
Yes. Which beaker consists or possess more heat? We kept these beakers
First one.
under the sunlight
Black.
for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Which beaker,
First one. First one.
is it black or white?
Black.
Black.
Black. Why?
Because if we wear golden when it's so hot, then they will feel really hot and sweaty.
The beaker that is with black in color, the water contained in beaker with black in color becomes more heat as compared to that of the beaker with white in color, because the dark colored object
Golden
absorbs
clothes.
more heat. So this is what is the conclusion. So here the black colored pot is absorbs more heat. So the conclusion that we can draw from here, black or dark colored things, not only black, the dark colored things absorbs more heat, dark colored things absorbs more heat. Okay, so here we consider 2 beakers. One is black in color and other is white in color, and take the equal amount of water. Keep these 2 beakers under sunlight for 4 or 5 hours. After sometimes when we are observed or when you touch the water, you can see that the beaker containing the first beaker, that is the beaker with black in color or the beaker containing water with the black in color, is more heat or it is more hot as compared to that of the second beakers. What is the reason? Because the colored objects
black
Colored objects absorb more heat.
absorbs more heat. Okay, so that is why it is said that during summer season we are usually prefer the light colored clothes. If you are wear a dark colored clothes during summer season, what happens? These dark colored clothes absorbs more sunlight. Okay, then you feel more hot. That is why it is said that during summer please wear light colored clothes. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So that's all about this chapter, heat. It's a very small chapter and very interesting chapter. We are starting with the definition of heat. Did you remember all the points that we are discussing in this chapter? Heat.
Ma'am, attendance.
Okay, I will take the attendance. Okay. Means temperature is a measure of hotness or coldness of an object. And how you can measure the temperature of a body or temperature of an object?
Using a thermometer.
Thermometer. Very good. Thermometer is a device that is used to measure the temperature. Basically, we have 2 types of thermometers. What are they?
Clinical thermometer and lab thermometer.
Very good. Clinical thermometer and lab thermometer. Then we discuss about the 3 different methods that we are adopted to measure the or transfer the temperature or transfer the heat. What are the 3 different methods?
Convection, and radiation.
Very good. Conduction, convection, and radiation. And conduction is a method of heat transfer that is present in solids. What about convection? Convection is a method of heat transfer that is present in
Liquids and gases.
Fluids.
liquids and gases. Together we can call it as fluids. And what about radiation? Radiation is a method of heat transfer, that is transfer of heat from one body to another body without require a medium, without passing through a particular medium. That is what is known as radiation. Okay, children, so that's all for today. Please go through these topics. We have